Hello, chess enthusiasts. Welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we'll be diving into a classic game from the 1985 World Championship between two of the greatest chess legends of all time, Garry Kasparov and Anatoly Karpov. This exciting clash is not just a display of brilliant tactics but also a testament to the deep rivalry and contrasting styles of these two iconic players. Join me as we explore the opening moves, key strategies, and pivotal moments that led to an unforgettable victory for Kasparov. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced player, there's something in this game for everyone to learn. So, grab your boards, and let's get started. 1. Pawn to d4. Garry Kasparov opens with the pawn to d4, establishing control of the center and paving the way for his pieces to develop. Knight to f6. Anatoly Karpov responds with his knight to f6, attacking the central pawn on e4 and preparing to challenge Kasparov's center. 2. Pawn to c4. Kasparov plays c4, reinforcing his stronghold in the center while also preparing to develop his knight to c3. Pawn to e6. Karpov plays e6, supporting his position and allowing for the development of his light-squared bishop. 3. Knight to c3. Building on his control of the center, Kasparov develops his knight to c3, eyeing the center and potentially preparing to support his pawn on d4. Bishop to b4. Karpov pins the knight on c3 to the king, exerting pressure and provoking potential weaknesses in Kasparov's pawn structure. 4. Knight to f3. Kasparov develops his knight to f3, breaking the pin and reinforcing the center. King to g8. Karpov castles kingside for safety, enhancing his king's security and connecting his rooks. 5. Bishop to g5. Kasparov places his bishop on g5, pinning the knight on f6 and increasing the pressure on Karpov's position. Pawn to c5. Karpov challenges the center by playing c5, trying to undermine Kasparov's d4 pawn. 6. Pawn to e3. Kasparov solidifies his center with e3, preparing for piece development while keeping the pawn structure intact. Pawn takes on d4. Karpov captures on d4, removing one of Kasparov's central pawns to create an open file. 7. Pawn takes on d4. Kasparov recaptures with the pawn on d4, maintaining central presence. Pawn to h6. Karpov plays h6, evicting the bishop on g5 to safeguard the knight on f6. 8. Bishop to h4. Kasparov retreats his bishop to h4, keeping the pin and maintaining pressure on Karpov's knight. Pawn to d5. Karpov strikes back in the center with d5, trying to assert his own control. 9. Rook to c1. Kasparov aligns his rook with the enemy queen and c-file, preparing to capitalize on any open lines. Pawn takes on c4. Karpov captures on c4, but this allows Kasparov to develop his piece activity further. 10. Bishop takes on c4. Kasparov places his bishop on c4, now eyeing the vulnerable f7 square. Knight to c6. Karpov develops his knight to c6, challenging the center and supporting his position. 11. King to g1. Kasparov castles, bringing his king to safety and connecting his rooks. Bishop to e7. Karpov develops his bishop to e7, preparing to castle while reinforcing his knight on f6. 12. Rook to e1. Kasparov centralizes his rook on e1, placing it on an open file and preparing to support an advance in the center. Pawn to b6. Karpov plays b6, looking to fianchetto his light-squared bishop and solidify his pawn structure. 13. Pawn to a3. Kasparov plays a3, preventing any potential knight or bishop jumps into b4. Bishop to b7. Karpov places his bishop on b7, targeting the pawn on e4 and solidifying his control. 14. Bishop to g3. Kasparov moves his bishop to g3, maintaining control over the central dark squares and preparing for future developments. Rook to c8. Karpov doubles down on the c-file, now threatening potential exchanges along this line. 15. Bishop to a2. Kasparov retreats his bishop to a2, keeping the pressure on the knight while preparing to exploit the c-file further. Bishop to d6. Karpov develops his bishop to d6, potentially preparing for a knight move to e7 or f6. 16. Pawn to d5. Kasparov strikes with d5, forcing Karpov to react to an aggressive pawn thrust. Knight takes on d5. Karpov captures with his knight, but this leads to complications in his position. 17. Knight takes on d5. Kasparov rapidly recaptures with his knight, placing threats on the board. Bishop takes on g3. Karpov decides to exchange pieces, taking the knight on g3 to reduce the pressure. 18. Pawn takes on g3. Kasparov recaptures with the h-pawn, now with an open h-file that could be useful for later attacks. Pawn takes on d5. Karpov captures on d5, further simplifying the position but exposing himself to threats. 19. Bishop takes on d5. Kasparov seizes the opportunity to centralize his bishop, looking to leverage his active pieces. Queen to f6. Karpov moves his queen to f6, aiming to increase counterplay against Kasparov's position. 20. Queen to a4. Kasparov plays an aggressive queen move, putting immediate pressure on the pinned knight and enhancing his control of the board. Rook to d8. Karpov responds by developing his rook, looking to reinforce his position. 21. Rook to d1. Kasparov centralizes his other rook, doubling on the d-file and intensifying pressure on the center. Rook to d7. Karpov tries to tighten his defense by doubling up on the d-file, but his position looks precarious. 22. Queen to g4. Kasparov finds an active square for his queen, threatening mate on g7 and forcing Karpov's rook into a defensive position. Rook to d8. Karpov moves his rook back to d8, trying to alleviate some pressure. 23. Queen takes on d7. Kasparov captures on d7, drastically simplifying the position and putting Karpov's king in a checkmated position. Rook takes on d7. Karpov captures the queen with the rook, but the position is now very difficult for him. 24. Rook to e8 check. Kasparov delivers a check, forcing Karpov's king into a vulnerable position. King to h7. Karpov is forced to move his king to h7, but his position is almost lost. 25. Bishop to e4 check. Kasparov plays b4 with a check, simultaneously attacking the rook on d7 and sealing Karpov's fate. Karpov resigns. Kasparov has successfully outmaneuvered him, demonstrating superior tactical play and control over the board. And there you have it. Garry Kasparov showcases his incredible tactical prowess and strategic foresight in this thrilling encounter against Anatoly Karpov. This game not only illustrates the intricate complexities of the Nimzo-Indian defense but also highlights the intense rivalry between these two chess legends during the 1985 World Championship. Kasparov's ability to maintain pressure and capitalize on any openings was key to his victory. It's a perfect example of how understanding the principles of piece activity, control of the center, and tactical awareness can lead to success on the chessboard. Thank you for joining us in this analysis. If you enjoyed the commentary, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe for more chess content, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think of Kasparov's play? Are there other games you'd like us to analyze? We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep practicing and playing chess.